Genesis 24. "Whose daughter are you, miss?" he asked. "Would your father have any room to put us up for the night?" "My father is Bethuel," she replied. "My grandparents are Milcah and Nahor. Yes, we have plenty of straw and food for the camels, and a guest room." The man stood there for a moment with head bowed, worshipping Jehovah. "Thank you, Lord God of my master Abraham," he prayed. "Thank you for being so kind and true to him, and for leading me straight to the family of my master's relatives." The girl ran home to tell her folks, and when her brother Laban saw the ring and the bracelets on his sister's wrists and heard her story, he rushed out to the spring where the man was standing beside his camels and said to him, "Come, stay with us, friend. Why stand here outside the city when we have a room all ready for you and a place prepared for the camels?" So the man went home with Laban, and Laban gave him straw to bed down the camels and feed for them, and water for the camel drivers to wash their feet. Then supper was served, but the old man said, I don't want to eat until I am told why I don't want to eat until I have told you why I am here." "All right," Laban said, "tell us your errand." "I am Abraham's servant," he explained, "and Jehovah has overwhelmed my master with blessings, so that he is a great man among the people of his land. God has given him flocks of sheep and herds of cattle, and a fortune in silver and gold, and many slaves and camels and donkeys. Now when Sarah, my master's wife, was very old, she gave birth to my master's son, and my master has given him everything he owns. And my master made me promise not to let Isaac marry one of the local girls, but to come to his relatives here in this far-off land, to his brother's family, and to bring back a girl from here to marry his son. But suppose I can't find a girl who will come?" I asked him. "She will," he told me, "for my Lord, in whose presence I have walked, will send his angel with you and make your mission successful. Yes, find a girl from among my relatives, from my brother's family. You are under oath to go and ask. If they won't send anyone, then you are freed from your promise." Well, this afternoon I came to the spring. When I came to the spring, I prayed this prayer: "O Jehovah, the God of my master Abraham, if you are planning to make my mission a success, please guide me in this way. Here I am, standing beside the spring. I will say to some girl who comes to draw water, 'Please give me a drink of water,' and she will reply, 'Certainly, and I'll water your camels too.' Let that girl be the one you have selected to be the wife of my master's son." Well, while I was still speaking these words, Rebekah was coming along with her water jug upon her shoulder, and she went down to the spring and drew water and filled the jug. I said to her, "Please give me a drink." She quickly lifted the jug down from her shoulder so that I could drink, and told me, "Certainly, sir, and I will water your camels too." So she did. Then I asked her, "Whose family are you from?" And she told me, "Nahor's. My father is Bethuel, the son of Nahor, and his wife Milcah." So I gave her the ring and the bracelets. Then I bowed my head and worshipped and blessed Jehovah, the God of my master Abraham, because he had led me along the right path to find a girl from the family of my master's brother. So tell me, yes or no, will you or won't you be kind to my master and do what is right? When you tell me, then I'll know what my next step should be, whether to move this way or that." Then Laban and Bethuel replied, "The Lord has obviously brought you here, so what can we say? Take her and go. Yes, let her be the wife of your master's son, as Jehovah has directed." At this reply, Abraham's servant fell to his knees before Jehovah. Then he brought out jewels set in solid gold and silver for Rebekah, and lovely clothing, and he gave her many valuable presents. He gave many valuable presents to her mother and brother. Then they had supper, and the servant and the men with him stayed there overnight. But early the next morning he said, "Send me back to my master." "But we want Rebekah here at least another 10 days or so," her mother and brother exclaimed. "Then she can go." But he pleaded, Don't hinder my return. The Lord has made my mission successful, and I want to report back to my master." "Well," they said, "we'll call the girl and ask what she thinks." So they called Rebekah. "Are you willing to go with this man?" they asked her, and she replied, "Yes, I will go." So they told her goodbye, sending along the woman who had been her childhood nurse, and blessed her with this blessing as they parted. Our sister, may you become the mother of many millions. May your descendants overcome all your enemies. So Rebekah and her servant girls mounted the camels and went with him. Meanwhile, Isaac, whose name was in the Negev, whose home was in the Negev, had returned to Beer Lahai Roi. One evening, as he was taking a walk in the fields, meditating, he looked up and saw the camels coming. Rebekah noticed him and quickly dismounted. "Who is that man walking through the fields to meet us?" she asked the servant, and he replied, "It is my master's son." So she covered her face with her veil. Then her servant told Isaac the whole story. And Isaac brought Rebekah into his mother's tent, and she became his wife. He loved her very much, and she was a special comfort to him after the loss of his mother. Genesis 25. Now Abraham married again. Keturuah was his new wife, and she bore him several children: Zimran, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, Shua. Jokshan's two sons were Sheba and Dedan. Dedan's sons were Ashhuriam, Letushim, and Lumim. Midian's sons were Ephah, Ephur, Hanok, Abida, and Eldar. Abraham deeded everything he owned to Isaac. However, he gave gifts to the sons of his concubines and sent them off into the east, away from Isaac. Then Abraham died at the ripe old age of 175, and his sons, Isaac and Ishmael, buried him in the cave of Machpelah near Mamre, in the field Abraham had purchased from Ephron, the son of Zohor, the Hethite, where Sarah, Abraham's wife, was buried. After Abraham's death, God poured out rich blessings upon Isaac. Isaac had now moved south to Beer Lahai Roi in the Negev. Here is a list in the order of their births of the descendants of Ishmael, who was the son of Abraham and Hagar the Egyptian, Sarah's slave girl: Nebaioth, Kedar, Abdil, Mibsam, Mishma, Duma, Massa, Hadad, Tema, Jetur, Naphish, and Kedemah. These 12 sons of his became the founders of 12 tribes that bore their names. Ishmael finally died at the age of 137 and joined his ancestors. These descendants of Ishmael were scattered across the country from Havilah to Shur, which is a little way to the northeast of the Egyptian border in the direction of Assyria, and they were constantly at war with one another.